Now that we've got this far, let's have a quick tidy up of the Vegas user interface. And also in this tutorial, we'll take in a couple of tips too. Right, as a reminder, here's what we have. We've got 2 video events so far, both with their embedded audio muted by selecting the mute button on track 2, which mutes everything on this track. If I want to unmute it, then of course I click on it once more, and to remute it, then of course clicking on it again mutes it. And we can tell it's muted, not just because the mute button is indented, but also because track 2 there, in its entirety, across its horizontal length down our timeline, is greyed out. We've also got our good audio recording down on track 4. Now I want this to be below my video track really, for convenience, or possibly to be above it. So, like we've seen previously, I could left click on it and move it up to a different track position, i.e. track position number 2. Now before I do, I want to remove my unwanted audio from our video events. However, notice what happens. If I try and delete it by selecting it and hitting the delete key on my keyboard, well, my video event gets deleted too. And of course, this is not what I want. So let me bring that back in. I'll go up to edit and then down and click on undo. Okay, we're back to where we started. And also, if I want to move the audio or the video, well, they move in parallel. Now this is hardly surprising, seeing as they are connected, i.e. each video event there was filmed and the audio in the room was captured too. So I'll just put them back. I'll go up to edit once more and click undo to take them back to where they were. Let me just move my CTI to the beginning out of the way. Right then, what we have to do to be able to delete the audio from the embedded video, well, what we have to do is what's known as ungrouping the unwanted audio from the required video. And one way to do this is to select the audio first of all, and then right-click on it and run up and choose Group. And then from this Group option, choose Remove From. Now the shortcut is the key U on your keyboard. This would have done the same thing, but of course much quicker. And by doing this, this means for this event only, the video and the audio are unlinked or ungrouped. So now if I want to move the audio, for example, I can left click on it and drag to a different independent position. So I could move it over here to the left, for example, or, which is what I really want to do, I could simply hit the delete key on my keyboard and immediately just the audio disappears, resulting in the video remaining in its position and in synchronization with the good audio on track 4. Right, let's do the same thing with event number 2. I'll select the audio, then I'll right click on it and then go up to Group and then across to Remove From. And now of course I can move this audio independently too, or delete it, which again is what I want to do, so I'll hit the delete key. Okay, so we've got to this position, so I'll do a quick save. Next, seeing as we're tidying up our user interface, I'll remove the unwanted or empty track 3 there, by right clicking on it and choosing Delete Track. And as a result, my good audio has moved to track 3 instead of it being on track 4. We've just deleted the original track 3 and consequently track 4 on my track list gets moved up a track. Okay, now I'll actually move this to the top of our track list above the video by left clicking on it and then dragging up. And also I'll collapse its footprint by left clicking the bottom horizontal division line there and dragging up slightly. And I've done this only because the audio is, well, you'll remember it's the studio quality recording, and I don't think I'm going to really do anything with this in terms of adding EQ or reverb or anything like that. Possibly I might bring its volume down just a touch. We'll see how we get on. Okay then, now next I'll unmute the audio track, now renumbered as track 3, and this now means I can subsequently bring in further events onto track 2, our video track, and onto track 3, the audio track, to line up with our good audio on track 1. Incidentally, if I want to move all my events, the audio and the video, simultaneously along the timeline, well, the quick way of doing this is to click on Control on your keyboard and the key A, so Control plus A to select all the events on the timeline and then simply left click on any event and drag to reposition like this. Okay, so all my events have been moved in synchronization, but do note the markers didn't move though. So you'll need to select each marker and manually line up to the relevant event start point like this. I'll grab the first marker, named as number 2, Guitar Crash, and left click and move to snap align it to the event start. And notice as it does align to the beginning of that event, it snaps to it, and we can tell that because we can see that magnetic snap guide, and it's there to help me line it up accurately. Now I'm going to do the same thing for marker number 1. It's named as number 1, but it's actually our second marker. I'll left click on it and drag to line it up with our second event start position. Okay, so once I get to this stage, I can now proceed with building my video with a neater, tidier project, which means there is less confusion.